Welcome to a brand new lesson. This is How Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now, in this lesson, we are looking at the types of fraction we have. We look at them in two parts. First of all, how fractions relate to a whole number, and secondly, how fractions relate to each other. So, without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So, with respect to the first one, where we are looking at how fractions relate to a whole number, we'll be looking at the proper fractions, the improper fractions, and the mixed fractions. So starting off with a proper fraction, a fraction where the numerator is smaller than the denominator is a proper fraction. Earlier on, we said a fraction has what? A numerator and then a denominator. So anytime you write the fraction and you realize the numerator is smaller than the denominator, then you are talking of a proper fraction. It most at times and then always represent quantities that are less than 1. You see, that are less than 1. With this idea in mind, then we can write so many examples. So for instance, you can write your 1/2. This here is a proper fraction. You see, 4/5. This here is also a proper fraction. 8/20. You see, so far as the numerators are smaller than our denominators, then we can say it is a proper fraction. So most of the times, let's look at this example here. If we have a whole, so let's say this is a whole pizza. If I take just part of it, right, this can be denoted with a proper fraction because I am not taking the whole thing. You see, so for proper fractions, you are not taking the whole piece, but then you are taking part of it. So I can just take part of it. You see, part of it. You see, so far as you take part, then it is a proper fraction. Now let's look at the improper fraction. So talking of the improper fraction, a fraction where the numerator is equal to or greater than the denominator represents or is what we call an improper fraction. So for instance, if you have 4/3, 4/3, with this, you realize that 4 is what? Greater than 3. Right? So 4/3. Our 4 here is greater than 3. What we call the numerator is greater than 3. Hence, it is improper. This is, if you have 5/2, this is greater than this one. You see? And the analogy here is that the improper fractions are just greater than what? 1. So with what I have here, this can be an example of an improper fraction. We know a slice of, or when you take one full pizza, you have 8 slices. But then we have the case here where we have what? More than the 8 slices. We have what? 10 slices in total. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then plus this other 2 over here. You see, and it is more than 1. Do you see that? So this is an example of an improper fraction. Simply put, your numerator is greater than or equal to the denominator. Now the last one under this section is what we call the mixed fractions, also known as mixed numbers. So if you have a number that is composed of a whole number first and a proper fraction, then we call that a mixed fraction. Take note, it is composed of whole number and a proper fraction. Now they are used to express improper fractions into simpler forms. You see, so for instance, if you have one whole number, 3/4, this one here is an example of a mixed fraction. You see, so far as there's a whole number and a proper fraction, then it becomes a mixed fraction. So you need to know how to do this conversion, that is converting an improper fraction to a mixed fraction. So how do we do that? Now the instruction is very simple. It says you can convert an improper fraction to a mixed fraction by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So let's take some improper fractions such as 4 over what? 3. You see, so if you want to convert this into a mixed fraction, then what you do is you divide the numerator by your denominator. 3 divides 4 how many times? Once, you see. And then 3 times 1 gives us what? A 3. If you subtract, you have a remainder of 1. So simply put, 1 remainder 1. If you want to write this then as a whole, as a mixed fraction, the whole number is 1, you see. So it is then going to give us what? 1 whole number. Then the remainder you have over here, you have 1, that is a remainder of 1, all over this same denominator, over 3. You see? So let me take that again. If you want to change an improper fraction, into a mixed fraction, what you do is you count or you solve for the number of times the denominator divides the numerator. The remainder becomes the numerator of your fraction, that is the proper fraction, over this same denominator. So as you have seen being done here, we divide 4 by what? 3, and that gives us a 1, and there's a remainder of 1. So 1 whole number, 1 over 3. Solving more examples will enhance your understanding. So let's try that. So let's try changing 11 over 4 to what? A mixed fraction. So what I said you do is you divide the numerator. Okay. So we are going to divide the numerator by the denominator. That is 4 divides 11 how many times? That is 2 times. So 4 times 2 gives us an 8. And if you have to subtract, we have a remainder of 3. You see, so that is 2 whole number, remainder 3. We don't want to go to the decimal section. So this simply implies that 11 over 4 is actually going to give us a 2 whole number. Then the remainder you have over here. So 3 over the denominator you used, or the number you used to divide. So over 4. You see, that is very simple. Let's try one last example. Then we move to our next section. So we have this improper fraction here. We want to change into what? The mixed fraction. So what is it going to be? You try your long division. So 7, then you are dividing it by 2. You see. So 2 divides 7 how many times? 3 times. So we have our 3. Then 2 times 3 gives us a 6. If we subtract, we have a 1. You see, we don't want to go to the decimal side. So we just say remainder 1. So that it will imply that our 7 over 2 is then giving us this 3 here. 3 whole number. The remainder, which is 1, over this same denominator. That is 2. You see. So basically, this is how we change from improper fraction to what? The mixed fraction. Now, what if you have the mixed fraction and you want to change it into improper fraction? How do you go about it? Now, when it comes to converting mixed fractions into improper fraction, it is very, very simple and indirect. Okay. So let's say you have a mixed fraction. Let's make it general. So I would say the whole number, then the numerator over the denominator. Okay. So if you have a mixed fraction of this form and you want to change it into improper fraction, what you do is you'd have to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So the whole number times the denominator. Then we add the numerator all over. You see, so all over the denominator. Very simple. Multiply the whole number by the denominator, then you add the numerator. As simple as that. What do I mean by this? If we take a mixed fraction such as 2 whole number 1 over 3 and we want to change it into improper, what is it going to be? It says multiply the whole number by the denominator. So 2 plus 2 times 3 and then we add our numerator, which is 1, all over the denominator. Simplifying further, we have 2 times 3, which gives us a 6. So 6 plus 1 over 3, which then gives us a 7 over 3. And this is the equivalent improper fraction of 2 whole number 1 over 3. You see, it's very simple. Let's try some few more examples. Okay, so in this second example here, we have 5 whole number 2 over 5, and we want to change it into what? Improper fraction. So just as the procedure says, multiply your whole number by your denominator. That is 5 multiplied by 5. And then we add the numerator, you see, so plus 2, all over the denominator. So all over 5. Simplifying, we have 5 times 5, which gives us a 25. So we have 25 plus 2 over 5. And 25 plus 2, we know, gives us a 27. So we have 27 over 5 as the improper form of 5 whole number 2 over 5. So the rule is simple. Multiply the whole number by the denominator, add the numerator, then all over the denominator. As simple as that. I wanted us to go to the next type of fraction, that is the part 2 of this. But then, looking at time, I'll take it to our next lesson. As usual, I'll leave you with some exercises you can try on your own. So here are just 2 sets of questions you can try. The first, you have to convert the improper fractions to mixed fractions. Then secondly, you convert the mixed numbers to improper fractions. I do hope this lesson was helpful. See you in our next session, and bye for now.